My first restaurant job was this restaurant that no longer exists called Southwest New York in lower end of Manhattan. It's in the financial district, right across the street from the World Trade Center, right? So it was a biggest outdoor seated restaurant in New York City, 300 seats right on the Hudson River, giant Mexican restaurant, and then all these seats inside. So I go for this interview. I've never worked a restaurant job in my life, but I'm like, how hard can it be? And so I made up my entire resume, made up 6 years experience. I said I worked at steakhouses. I said I worked at an Applebee's, which foreshadowing I eventually did. Which was crazy. But they were like, we're so well-rounded. This is so crazy. It's wild that all of these places either went out of business or have changed locations or, and I'm like, I know. So I get this job because I'm a good bullshitter, And the first day I'm on the job, I've never worked in a restaurant. Everybody else is like 5 years experience. The week that I got hired, somebody else had gotten hired with no experience that he made up, but like flamed out real quick. And all the other servers were talking about it, being like, this guy thinks he could work in a restaurant, especially here, Southwest. This is the top of that. This was like the Yankees of being, in a restaurant. Right. And so I'm like immediately in the weeds. I'm like trying to figure out the POS system. I'm running around. They give me this huge section because I had so much experience, and I'm like running around sweating like an animal. And then the hostess comes over. She's like, "You have a VIP in your section," and I'm like, "What the fuck?" I'm like sweating. I'm like, I thought the owner of the company was there or something. I'm like, I'm gonna get fired. This is crazy. And then I walk over and she goes, "You're gonna be thankful." And I walk over, and it's just my favorite person on the planet, Leonardo Dicaprio, is just sitting in my section on my first day of the job with his mom and with his friend and their little dog. And I'm immediately like just coughing. Every other table gets no treatment. After that, I go right up to him, and I'm trying to play it cool, but also I think I just watched like Body of Lies like the night before. So I'm like all Leo all the time. Let me smell your dick. Like I'm all over it. And so I'm like, I'm trying to be like this professional, like, "Hey, how are you?" And he's got like the hood up, the glasses, and he's just the nicest guy of all time. I managed to serve him very well. All the other people in my section complained greatly, but he was so happy, and he left me this big tip. He was the nicest guy, paid for it with like a different name on a credit card. It was a whole thing. And then I was living off that high for like the rest of the shift. And then at the end of my shift, I was waiting on this table of all these, fucking financial bros, douches that were out there. And I was bringing out a pitcher of like mugs of beers and margaritas and stuff. And I was like taking them off. And one asshole just did the thing you never do, which is he went and took his drink off of the thing. And the entire tray of drinks flipped upside down onto him and his suit. Glass shatters everywhere. Everybody looks like everybody stops, dead silent. First day on the job. And then I look, my first reaction is to look to where Leo was sitting to see if he's still there. And he had just left. And I was like, yeah. This guy was like, "Are you kidding me?" And I was like, Leo's gone. So my interaction with him stayed perfect. You know what I mean? But I was also, I got let go of that job.